want to talk to me anymore, you're going to have to get some money out of your pockets. The free charity work is done.
Whether you love him, hate him, or pretend not to care, Andrew Tate is inside your head, and not just yours. He's inside the minds of millions. Not because he's the smartest, not because he's the most right, but because he's using something far more powerful than opinions. Mind control tactics, psychological warfare, mental programming. And here's the truth, you've already been played. Tate understands the oldest marketing trick in the book. Repetition plus emotion equals control. Every time he says, escape the matrix, top G, weak men destroy society, he's not just speaking. He's embedding ideas into your brain through a process called neural priming. The more you hear a phrase in a high emotion state, the more your brain wires it in. Angry, hyped, laughing, doesn't matter. Your subconscious is still recording. And once it's in, you'll start seeing life through that lens. Not because it's true, but because you've been conditioned. Controversy triggers your brain's dopamine system. Like a slot machine, Tate drops shock value clips. Things you shouldn't say. Statements that trigger anger, ego, or desire. What happens? You click, you comment, you share. But what you don't realize is you're feeding the algorithm that feeds your addiction. You become part of the distribution engine. The hate fuels the fame, and the fame reinforces the belief. It's the ultimate psychological hijack. He doesn't care what side you're on. He just needs you emotionally engaged. Tate doesn't sell logic, he sells identity. He gives young men a tribe, a mission, a clear enemy. The Matrix, soy boys, feminism, weakness. This creates in-group bias, where if you're not with him, you're the enemy. And for many lost young men, he becomes the father figure they never had. He speaks with certainty, dominance, conviction. And in a world full of confused messages, that voice cuts through like a sword. It's not about what he says. It's about how it feels when he says it. And once that emotional bond forms, you'll defend him, even when he's wrong, because you're not defending the man. You're defending the version of yourself you became by listening to him. Now here's where it gets wild. From a quantum mechanics perspective, observation creates reality. Tate understands something most influencers don't. If he can control your attention, he controls your experience of reality. He injects his voice into your TikTok, your YouTube, your group chats, until you're seeing his worldview everywhere. Not because it's the truth, but because it's the loudest signal in your quantum field. And the more you react, the more the algorithm redelivers it. This isn't just media, it's consciousness manipulation. Tate's mind control tactics work because he understands. The brain craves certainty, the mind craves identity, and the ego craves superiority. He gives you a system to believe in, a villain to hate, and a version of yourself to admire. He builds an army, not with guns, but with narratives, neurochemistry, and attention loops. So the real question isn't whether Tate is right or wrong. It's whether you realize what's actually happening to you. Because if he can control your thoughts, he can control your behavior. And if he can control your behavior, you're not free. You're not a top G. You're just a product of someone else's system. Wake up, take back your mind, unfollow the echo chamber, rebuild your identity based on reality, not reaction. Because the real flex is being untouchable mentally, emotionally, and consciously. And no one can program that into you. You have to build it yourself. You've been played, but now you're awake. Let me know if you want a part 2 diving even deeper into the tactics behind cults, echo chambers, and influencer influence.